So I'm gonna begin this episode by reading an excerpt from a book titled "Resisting Happiness" by Matthew Kelly. Do you know anyone who doesn't want to be happy? You want to be happy, and I want to be happy. Your boyfriend or girlfriend wants to be happy. Your husband or wife wants to be happy. And if you have children, they want to be happy too. Your friends want to be happy, and your colleagues and customers at work want to be happy. Everyone wants to be happy, and we're all chasing happiness in our own way. It starts when we're very young. When we are children, we think to ourselves, oh, if only I could have that toy, I would be happy. But then we get that toy, and after a while, we realize that toy is not going to satisfy our desire for happiness. So we turn our attention towards something else, perhaps a bike. We tell ourselves, if I ever get that bike, I will be happy. We get the bike, and of course, the yearning for happiness is still not satisfied. As we get a little older and social interactions become more important, we tend to attach our hope for happiness to friendship. Now we think to ourselves, if she became my best friend, I'd be happy forever. But our desire for happiness cannot be fulfilled in this way either. No one person can satisfy our immense desire for happiness, and it is not fair to attach that hope to any one person. So many relationships have died under the weight of this misplaced expectation. In our adolescent years, we tend to turn our attention towards pleasure. We tell ourselves, if I have this pleasure or that pleasure, or all the pleasures at the same time, then I will be happy. But pleasure is a poor substitute for the happiness we desire. It is fleeting, and we yearn for something that is lasting. Our attention in early adulthood turns towards accomplishment. We think to ourselves, I know the answer now. If I can accomplish something great, I will stop feeling empty and dissatisfied, and I will be happy forever. Maybe we do, and maybe we don't accomplish something great, but regardless, the yearning for a happiness that is higher or deeper continues. At this point, most people just cycle back through all the same things, thinking that more of something or more of everything is the answer to the insatiable desire for happiness. So they chase more things, more money, more pleasure, more of the right friends, more accomplishments. But they end up dissatisfied and wondering, what on earth will satisfy this incredible desire for happiness? The answer is nothing. So that was a brief excerpt from the book entitled Resisting Happiness by Matthew Kelly. I believe it's a self-help book of some sort with a spiritual tone. Yeah, it was given to me by my mom a couple years ago for my birthday. So I don't know, maybe she was sending me a message there. Um, so this episode I think is gonna be very brief. Um, you know, there's not really much I want to talk about. But uh, since I use this podcast less so as a way to interact with other people or have other people listen, it's more of a way for me to just talk and reflect and I guess as a way to get in my own head and I guess organize my thoughts or maybe not so much organize, but instead just a way to release my thoughts. Um, but I recently, very recently, found out um, of the very sudden and recent passing of a friend of mine. And I don't know. He was. We ran in the same circles. Of course, you know, as adults, we didn't interact very much or so often. But we were part of the same social circle in school, in high school, and immediately after. He's man. The last time I saw this person was maybe over a year ago at his house. He had invited me to watch a football game with him. Um, uh, and I don't know. I just all day today, I just been thinking about him and his wife and his family. I remember when I first met him. It was middle school. We I had befriended someone who happened to be his best friend and neighbor. So then I first became associated with this particular person that way. Uh, and in high school, we ran around the same circle. We had a couple of the same classes, maybe Spanish class I can remember, uh, and maybe a couple other classes. Um, I remember I remember when a kid punched me in Spanish class, freshman year of high school. This particular friend of mine came to my rescue. Just he shoved the other kids, saying "Get off him," and which I appreciated that. And sometimes sometimes we'd go to the mall and cause some mayhem with a group of our other friends. I don't know. You're still trying to as I mentioned, it's been so or it was so sudden and so recent. I actually found out last night that someone close to him, I guess close to both of us, texted me about it, and I was just at a loss for words. I was shocked. Um, and obviously now I'm still in shock. I hung out with my one of my best friends earlier today, who happened to be really close with this particular friend who passed suddenly. Uh, you could say at one point they were best friends, and I remember like as soon as I got in my best friend's car, we just kind of we just kind of sat there, and it was just like, well, how did you find out, And I remember I just started welling up because I couldn't do it at home. I couldn't I couldn't really do it at home, be it emotional at home. But I remember just sitting in there, and as we were just moving along, we were about to get a couple beers or a bite to eat. I just started welling up because I knew what this particular friend meant to a lot of people, and as now, of course, posts and tributes are now flooding on social media. So now more and more people are finding out, and of course, more and more people are deeply affected and at a loss. Even those who haven't seen him for quite some time remember him fondly. He, I, he even liked my last Instagram post, which was 3 or 4 days ago. 3 or 4 days ago, he liked an Instagram post of mine. And then to find out 3 days later that he's gone, and it's, you couldn't imagine. You couldn't imagine. For those who knew him, they couldn't, he's gone. He's gone. Like, it's just, everyone's, of course, trying to process this. It's still so fresh. And damn it, damn it. And this morning, I just, I was looking through my phone and for his number, just to know that I had his number, his phone number, and apparently it was on my previous phone. And I remember just getting so frustrated, like, why didn't I have his number? Why didn't I have his number? And he was, and he was such a decent guy. He was such a decent guy, and it's just being someone who was once close to him. You just, there's some regret. You wish you talked to him more. You wish you interacted with him more. 5 or 6 years ago, he invited he invited me to go have dinner at his home with his wife, and I didn't take him up on that offer. The couple times that it was offered, which is something I I regret. You know, I was invited to their wedding, and and I declined the invitation for I don't even remember why, but I declined their invitation to their wedding, which is something I regret. You know, I remember just fondly thinking of him. Just throughout the day, just thinking about him, just the certain memories. And I remember senior year of high school, I'd pick him up every day from his house to go to school, even though he lived walking distance just down the road from school. And because every morning he'd call me at like maybe 7 a.m., 6:30 or 7 a.m. Just asking, can I get a ride to school? And of course I said, yeah, oh, yeah, of course, sure. And sometimes I'd wait outside his house, outside in his driveway for 10 minutes, just waiting for him. You know, and in those instances where I would wait maybe 10, even 15 minutes for him, to the point where we might be late to class. It'd be understandable if I just drove off and say, "All right, dude, all right." I was waiting, but I always waited for him because I think I just wanted a buddy, just to pull up in the parking lot with the buddy, you know. I mean, it's not the biggest memory that would probably stand out to people, but I don't know. It really stuck out to me because it was just funny and endearing and kind of ridiculous at the same all at the same time. And he was really accommodating. He was such an accommodating person. He helped. He was willing to help. You know, and he was willing to tell you as it is and joke around. He was a decent guy. And now so many people are at a loss because he's gone. Damn it! I wish I talked to him more recently. I mean, every time, in the past few years, in the past couple of years, I've only seen him, or just a few times, but every time, just the handshake and a hug, and it was just a lot of happiness, a lot of happiness. Uh, I just, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe, there, of course, there has to be a reason. I don't know how it got so bad. I don't know how it hurt so much that he had to leave us. I don't I don't know. I don't know. I'm just it's just how, how can how can you really heal, right? Like you don't really get over these type of things. You just move on. And I mean, I was talking with my best friend who I went out and had a beer with earlier today, who was really close with this particular friend of ours who passed away. We were just talking about how how this has been one of the close ones. This really hit close to home because of who this person was to us. And even as adults, when we think things are okay, things are not okay. Things to many people, things don't seem okay. So maybe, I don't know. What I'm getting at here is, if you just check on your friends, just check on them. Text them, call them, on social media, on just Facebook message or Snapchat or whatever social media. Just check on your friends, see how they're doing. Just say, "Hey, what's up?" That's all you gotta do, And I think the people who feel low will appreciate it if you check on your friends, if you check on them. Everyone wants it. Everyone wants people to care about them and to check on them. So please, please, please check on your friends. And to you, buddy, if ever I see you again. I'm looking forward to the handshake and a hug, and maybe a pat on the back. What's up? How's it going? I'm really gonna miss you, dude. I'm really gonna miss you, man. Okay, so I mean, whatever. You all know my social media. Twitter. If you listen enough, you know my social media. Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube. Derek thinks Derickthinks. You know, uh, if you really want. But I want to conclude this podcast with just a very, just a poem. Just I mean, I thought about not doing the poem because just how heavy this was gonna be, but I picked a short one, but maybe it'll be impactful. It's by Robert Frost, and it's called "Nothing Gold Can Stay." Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down today. Nothing gold can stay.